So, hello and welcome to the Kubernetes new contributor orientation. So, before we start off, we have a few housekeeping items. Firstly, this meeting is recorded and will be published on YouTube. All meetings in the Kubernetes community abide by a code of conduct, which you can find at the link of the bottom of this slide. It basically sums up to please be respectful to the speakers and your fellow attendees, and generally be excellent to each other. Please use the chat to ask questions and have discussions through the call. There will be a Q&A section at the end where we encourage you to ask questions verbally if you would like to. A copy of these slides is available on GitHub and the link is also in the meeting invite. We will post the link in the chat now. Note that on GitHub, the slides are provided as a PDF file. The links in the deck are not clickable as displayed on GitHub, but they should be clickable if you download the file. So the purpose of this meeting is to orient you in the Kubernetes community. That means giving you a sense for how the community works and what your part is or could be within it. We will start off with a presentation to convey information about the community. Then we will have a Q&A section where you're welcome to ask any question you would like to your host today. Hearing the questions that you ask can benefit anyone watching the recording, so please do ask questions verbally during this time if you are comfortable doing so. So your hosts are folks who are already contributing to the Kubernetes community, and we're excited to help you get started. So my name is Matthias, and I will be giving the main presentation. I'm a SIG node reviewer, and I've been contributing to Kubernetes for more than 8 years. So now let's dive in. So the Kubernetes community is a very big group of people who work together to create and maintain the Kubernetes project. Here are some numbers to give you a sense for just how big the Kubernetes community is. We track data about our contributors via GitHub and a few other contributor tools, and we collect them in a tool called DevStats. This is basically a big database of information about Kubernetes contributions, and you're welcome to explore it yourself. These stats were pulled in July of 2025, and at that time we had almost 97,000 contributors who had made over 4.6 million contributions, and all these contributions are reviewed by just 8.2 thousand people with reviewer privileges. We'll talk more about what a contribution might mean and who a reviewer might be a little later in this presentation. Here is another visualization of how large our community is and how fast it's growing. This graph from the 2023 Kubernetes Project Journey Report shows how we've grown from Kubernetes beginning in 2014 to today. We grow from 0 to over 80K contributors in our first 10 years. Now, before we dive deeper in the community, some of you may be unfamiliar with what Kubernetes is and what it does. So here it is. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration tool. Open source means that it's made by people around the world, some of whom are paid to work on it, but many of whom are volunteers. And the code of the Kubernetes software is publicly available under an open source license that describes exactly who, when, and how the software and its source code can be used. And the cool thing that Kubernetes does is orchestrate containers. So let's go over that in the next slides. So businesses have many applications they need to run. For example, they may have a payroll application, logistics applications, or a company website. These applications need to run somewhere. So businesses also have a lot of computers to run these applications on. Kubernetes enables businesses to say, hey, Kubernetes, here is the computers I have, and here is the app I need to run. You can describe various levels of details about how that application needs to run or the hardware it might need. and Kubernetes will run it on a machine for you. It also provides some handy functionality for managing the application while it's running. For example, it can provide some help for the process of updating the application to a new version. Exactly how it does all this magic is what Kubernetes contributors work to maintain and improve every day. Let's learn more about how contributors build Kubernetes by exploring our community's structure. Kubernetes is an open source project within the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. The CNCF is a non-profit organization with the stated mission to make cloud native ubiquitous. To that end, they support many open source projects that enable companies to run applications in the cloud. The CNCF provides a variety of guidance and support to its projects, including legal support, codes of conduct, help with logos and copyright, and more. The pyramid below the CNCF represents the structure of the Kubernetes community. At the top, interfacing the most with the CNCF and presiding over many topics that affect the entire community and project is the steering committee. This is a body of 7 members who are elected by Kubernetes org members. We'll go over more about, we will explain what org membership means shortly. With a project so large, there are many different concepts within the project that need unique skills and knowledge. For example, the way the Kubernetes nodes, where workloads are run, do what they do is one area of expertise. Meanwhile, the challenge of writing and maintaining the Kubernetes docs needs folks with different expertise. People who work on specific areas of the project gather together in what are called special interest groups or SIGs. These break up the work of building and maintaining the Kubernetes project into more sensible chunks. Sometimes, however, there are big areas that need attention that are both very significant and cut across SIGs. Sometimes these are split into what we call working groups. A working group is generally temporary, created to address a specific issue, and then meant to disappear as a focus group once that topic is sufficiently addressed by ongoing SIG work. A defining characteristic of work groups is that they generally don't own any code or feature, at least not in the long term. Work groups work either is or will be owned by one or more SIGs by the time the work group dissolves, unless that is, the work group becomes a SIG, which happens occasionally. But even the work of one SIG can be quite broad in scope. There can be hundreds of contributors into a single SIG, so SIGs further break down their work into sub-projects. Currently, there are 24 special interest groups, 7 working groups, and 3 committees in the Kubernetes community. We can further group the SIGs and working groups by their scope. Some groups operate as a project level, and all other work in the project depends on them. Some groups work at the horizontal level, meaning that they have technical focus that is both deep and broad, and own core functionality from a project architecture perspective. Vertical groups have deep, specific technical focus that depends on the work of the horizontal groups. And of course, both horizontal and vertical groups depends on the work of the project group. Here is a diagram of all the SIGs and the working groups currently active in the Kubernetes project. To call out just a few, SIG release and docs are groups whose work you might be familiar with, and they operate at the project scope. Though you might not have known it, you have probably encountered the work of SIG API machinery and SIG auth before. We consider those to be horizontal groups. And in the vertical groups, you can also find lots of familiar concepts like autoscaling, scheduling, networking, and node. You might want to refer back to this diagram later as you're exploring groups to contribute to. And feel free to ask questions about this during the Q&A or in the chat now. But for now, we're going to move along to talk more about contributions. Now you've learned the the basics on how the community is structured, let's start exploring where you fit into all this. First off, let's briefly explore why you might want to contribute. There are many reasons people contribute to the Kubernetes community. For some, their job requires contributing. There are also contributors who work with the community on a purely volunteer basis. And there are also some who are somewhere in the middle, where their work needs them to contribute sometimes, but they also do extra work for the community outside of their job. So, why do so many people contribute without getting paid? Well, they may want to grow specific skills for their resume, or maybe they want to meet people working in the industry. Maybe they just think the technology is cool and they want to dive deep and help build it. Or sometimes folks just like being part of a community of people all working towards similar goals. You should think carefully about why you want to contribute. As you get more engaged with the community, you'll get more out of it if you can clearly tell people what you want. And if others know who you are, what you want, and what you can do, they can more easily help you find work, opportunities, and connections that will most benefit you. Regardless of why you are interested in contributing, you're probably wondering what it means to be a contributor. To answer the question of what it means to be a contributor, let's first explore what might count as a contribution. The truth is that any work you do to support the Kubernetes project is a welcome and valued contribution to the community. That sounds broad and vague, but it's important. There is a lot of work contributors do behind the scenes to make this project run, and it's certainly not all writing code and making pull requests on GitHub. That said, it can certainly help to have some example. So here are a few you might have thought of, and some you might not have. For example, did you start off by posting a hello message in the Kubernetes new contributors channel in the Kubernetes Slack? That's a contribution. Have you commented on an issue or a proposal for a new feature to share your thoughts or opinions? That's a contribution. Even watching or attending this meeting right now is a contribution. So pat yourselves on the back for contributing today. As a community, we try our best to acknowledge and appreciate contributions to the community in many forms. But if so many vague and varied things can count as a contribution, then what does it mean to be a contributor? There are various levels of being a contributor. You might remember our slide earlier where we mentioned contributors and reviewers. So this slide dives into more details on what those terms mean. Starting at the bottom, anyone can be a contributor. If you do any of the things mentioned on the previous slide and more, you are already a contributor. If you contribute to the community in any way, then you might be what we call a non-member contributor. This means that you pop into the community and contribute, likely in small, disconnected ways. But if you want to really get involved in the community, you might want to go for org membership. An org member refers to a member of the Kubernetes organization on GitHub. Being an org member gives you higher privileges to interact with the tools contributors use to do their work, like our ProBot in GitHub, which helps us apply labels and configure issues using GitHub commands. Many org membership Having org membership is a sign that you are an active, engaged contributor who intends to contribute in more structured ways within the community. If you're not just picking up a single issue or asking a one-off questions, you're probably developing expertise in certain area of the project. You might be contributed to one or more sub-projects or 6 in consistent, measurable ways. So you'll be ready to become a Kubernetes org member when the contributors you work with regularly are familiar with your work and will vouch for you as sponsors on your request for membership. Beyond becoming an org member, there are increasing levels of trust, ownership, and responsibility that you could choose to pursue. Once you've been engaged in an area for a while, you might have enough knowledge to help review contributions or help pull requests for other contributors. Eventually, you might be trusted enough to have the final say on whether some code is merged or a contribution is accepted and displayed on something like the Kubernetes.io website. Then you would be an approver. If you become a strong expert in a specific area who is highly trusted and regarded for your expertise, you might take on new responsibilities. You might become the person others come to with questions, and you might lead triage sessions or other work for the area. At that point, you might be a sub-project owner. If you're an expert who starts reading things in that who starts leading things in that area, you might also take on responsibility for various resources within that area and how they relate to other parts of the project. For example, you might take responsibility for the README file defining a whole sub-project, which is where people would go to learn about it. And you might become the contact person who triage requests from other parts of the project. At that point, you might be a sub-project lead. If you're leading a whole sub-project, that's a considerable chunk of work within a SIG. You're probably interacting and collaborating with leads of other sub-projects, and you're probably developing a pretty strong sense of the mission, objectives, and ongoing work of the SIG as a whole. At that point, you may become a chair or tech lead for an entire SIG. If you remember our community structure diagram from earlier, you might wonder if becoming a member of the steering committee would be a next step. But steering is an elected position. You can actually run for steering at any point once you are an org member. But you'll be more likely to get elected the better the other contributors know you and your work. This ladder seems like the one true path in contribution, but I want to remind you that there is no single path for your contributor journey. Most contributors end up contributing in multiple areas of the project. Some develop ownership in different SIGs at the same time. Just because you're learning and contributing in one SIG doesn't mean that you can't check out another. Remember, most contributors are at least partially volunteers. Almost everyone contributing is doing it because they love it. So look around, find what you love, and do that. Sorry, you had a question, Satya? Okay, I continue. Now you know the basics on how the community is structured and how you might fit into it. As we've established, you might already be a non-member contributor, but if you want to do more to contribute, let's explore where you can start. The fastest way to learn and make yourself useful will be to find a SIG that suits your interests and just start getting involved there. That might not mean immediately picking up an issue and writing code. Often, getting involved means attending meetings, reading notes and existing issues, and just generally starting to get a feel for what the group does. The primary ways that the Kubernetes community communicates are the Kubernetes Slack and the KDev mailing list. So make sure you join these SAP if you want to contribute more. Let's explore how you can learn about a SIG so you can find groups that are doing work relevant to your interests. So where can you start learning? First, check out the Kubernetes community repo on GitHub. In this repo, you can find folders containing information about each SIG and working group. When you click on a SIG folder in the community repo, it will show you that folder's README. At the top of this file, you'll find a brief summary of that SIG focus area and likely a link to their more detailed team charter. This will give you a broad, high-level idea of what the SIG does. Below the summary of the group, you'll find information about when the group meets. So attending meetings is often a great way to learn more about who is in the group, what they are currently working on, and how they do their work. Attending meetings is a great way to start getting to know the group of people you are interested in working with. and for them to get to know you. You'll also find information about the SIG's leadership. Most SIGs have both a concept of chair and technical leads. These leaders are at the same level of trust and responsibility, but likely own different types of tasks for supporting the SIG. Chairs tend to do more project management type work for the SIG, while tech leads tend to do more architectural leadership, like managing repos and certain kind of technical decision and processes. Each SIG defines what this role means to them, and each leader will be a little different. You'll also find contact information for the SIG. Most SIGs in Kubernetes do a lot of asynchronous communication in their channel within the Kubernetes Slack, which you can join by visiting slack.kts.io. Each SIG also has a mailing list. Important announcements for all contributors to a SIG will go out to the mailing list. The mailing list will also be invited to all SIG meetings via Google Calendar. You'll also find information about where to find issues and PRs related to that SIG, and other information like the GitHub teams that are part of that SIG. Also, every contributor should join the Kubernetes Dev Google group, also known as KDev. This mailing list is the primary communication channel for important contributor information. Checking out each SIG's folder will show you lots of information about that specific SIG. But what if you want to find information about all the SIG meetings? The community maintains the contributor website at kets.dev, and within kets.dev, we have a page with information about all the public community meetings. Go to ketsdev/calendar to see a list of all the meetings. Clicking on one will bring you a new window for you to add the meetings to your own calendar. This can be a great way to get a sense for which group meet at times that may work for you. Now you know how the community is structured, where you could fit in, and how to start learning more. You might also want to know if there is any actively open work you could pick up and become a part of. We reach out to the SIG leads each month to ask them to share any current opportunities they would like to prospective contributors to know about. On this slide, you can see evergreen opportunities. These are opportunities for work that are basically always available or which are available on a regular cadence. So I will let you check the slide deck in GitHub if you need more information on those opportunities. Evergreen opportunities are great because they represent work that always needs doing and which is likely well defined. But a lot of work is one-off style, an issue that needs fixing or work on a new feature. Many of these types of tasks require certain skills to complete. You might see an open request that requires a skill you want to develop and think you could pick it up and learn, but be wary of doing this. If the task was easy for someone already in the SIG to do, it probably wouldn't be an open request. Many requests with skills requirements are open because no one in the community currently has those skills, so they can't teach them. Or they may be open because the people who do have those skills are too busy and can't pick up more work, which includes helping others. But if you are coming to the Kubernetes community with those skills, like certain programming languages or specific technical skills like Linux networking or certain cloud providers, this task could be a great opportunity for you to contribute to the community. This slide lists call for help that require certain skills. If you're familiar with the tools or skills listed, please reach out to the appropriate Slack channel. I will also let you check those opportunities in the slides. As you can see, there are like many new ones. All right. I think we are almost at the half hour. So I will skip this part. Okay, so this was a lot of information today. And this is just the orientation meeting. When you join your first SIG meeting, you're probably going to be overwhelmed. A lot of SIG meetings exist for active existing contributors to collaborate with each other on active in-progress work. That doesn't mean you shouldn't join as a new contributor. You'll learn faster by joining these meetings and watching the processes in action. But it might mean that you will feel left out and lost in your first few times. So don't be afraid to ask questions by speaking up, asking in the chat, or asking in the SIG or sub-project Slack later. The Kubernetes community is a big, diverse place. It's diverse in terms of people, skills, technology, and so much more. It might take you a while to find a place that clicks with you. There might be a particular SIG or sub-project where you find more opportunities to build the skills or connections that are the most important to you. Don't forget that you can move around and explore other groups within the project. Most contributors end up contributing in multiple areas, and many find a particular area that they dive deep on. No two contributors have the same journey, so you'll need to explore to find the best places for you. Regardless of which area you explore, we need your help, and we are glad you're here. We covered a lot today. Getting started in the Kubernetes community means learning a lot of basic tools, processes, structures, and more. So check out these links and refer to them as you grow. Today, you learned some basics about how the Kubernetes community works and how you might grow as a contributor. Now is your chance to ask your active contributors host questions. So please, if you have some questions, ask them now. Let me check the chat if someone wrote anything. No. Come on, you must have some questions. I will wait here a bit.
If nobody's asking questions, I would like to talk something about the SIG contribex a bit.
Yes.
Because I joined this meeting because we have a call out from SIG contribex. So folks, you might have noticed that we are looking for people who can work on the SIG contribex and the SIG docs website. So I don't know how many of you have been in the recent KubeCon India. Um, has anyone been in the KubeCon India, the last one?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
In Hyderabad.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So great. Yeah. So a few people reached out to me there, looking for how to get started with contributing to SIG Contribex website and Docs website. So I just want to reiterate what Matthias said. Um, if if you want to start working on this, please do subscribe to the SIG Contribex Google group so that you get all new threads and everything in your mailbox. And please keep an eye on the mailbox because hopefully soon enough we might make another call out, a more targeted call out for contributors in SIG Contribex and SIG Docs. So please do keep an eye on those Google groups and yeah, join them.
Great. So do you have any question regarding the contributions? Come on, I've been a contributor for so many years, so I can share my experience if you want. A link to the Google groups. Yeah, let's check.
I
Yeah.
just shared for the
Thank you very much. Yes, I see. All right. Can wait like 2 more minutes if you have questions, and if not, we can close this meeting here.
Yeah, so yes, I don't have a question, but more of a open up a conversation, right? So my name is Madhu. I
Nice to meet
want
you,
to be
Madhu.
an open. Thanks, Matthias. I want to be an open source contributor, right? Like when I see you guys, like because I've been an open source consumer for a long, long time now. But and then I've been really one of the evangelists in propagating the open source usage, right? Like I talk about them, but always deep inside I wanted to contribute, but it so happens that it just sometimes getting started itself becomes so complex, right? As an user I've been
Yes.
able to use, but then when I want to go and then find out some issue and then figure out where the issue is coming and then try to solve them becomes a challenge. And then as they say, right, uh, the enthusiasm actually fades away as the problem becomes complex. So how do we start there, right? Like how do we consistently become part of the community such that we can pick up and then contribute and then feel that confidence in contributing smaller tasks and then go up to maybe work on a working group later.
So I can give you my own experience. So when I started, so it was like almost 9 years ago. So the community was much smaller. But first, I found my own bugs that I wanted to solve because I was using Kubernetes, and some parts of it was with kubectl were not working well, so I wanted to fix them. And I joined the Slack channel, starting to ask questions, and realized that nobody had time to fix my issue. So then I said, okay, well, I should start myself. And asking around in Slack, I mean, at that time worked, but I think today, if you really want to contribute some code, you have to make friends, or you have to meet people, you have to see people, because as a reviewers, we have like so many PRs to review that we have to give priorities. And as humans, we tend to prioritize things that we know or people that we know. So I think the easiest would be to find an area where you want to contribute, find which SIG is, or which sub-project is owning this part of the code, start to join the meetings, start to meet people there, maybe ask a few questions at the end of the meeting so that they can see your face, know your name, and then it's much easier for people to interact asynchronously, either in the Slack channel or in the GitHub issue. If we know your name, or if we know your face, and then this is how you start, and then you will feel more confident asking people because you saw them already a few times in the meetings, and this is how it starts. So actually, in my experience, I started to solve like 1 or 2 bugs in a very small SIG, which was like SIG testing. And then I enjoyed meeting those people, so I started to contribute more and more and more. But I think it's important to have some pleasure in what you are doing, and for me, human interaction helps in that.
Thanks, Matthias, that helps.
So yeah, find what you would like to do, join the meeting, meet the people, and yeah, get started.
Yeah, I'll start doing that, getting
Great.
into the SIG meetings and just being
Yes.
there. I think that might help.
Yes. I know you, so you are probably in India, so most of the SIG meetings don't have like a very nice time for you schedule. So yeah, you have to find those that have like compatible times with your day, because otherwise you will end up getting early at 3 in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, that might become difficult, but let's see what are my interests, and then what meeting might be
Yes.
happening in Indian
Yeah.
that could cross path.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else wants to add or chat, or we're here for that? Oh, Sayak, do you want to add something?
Sick contributes and sick dogs has India timings.
Ah, okay, that's great.
Great. That'll be a good place to start as
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this meeting itself is under SIG contributes, right? So you can always join us, at least join the SIG contributes channel and ask around. We are happy to help you, like even guide you a bit. Like if you can talk to us, say that these are my core interests and these are my skills, we might be able to like guide you as to like which SIG would be best suited for you in terms of skill. Uh, but again, I think Matthias said that like it's not always the best idea to go to a SIG which matches your skill. For example, I didn't start with my with a skill with a SIG that matches my skill set. Um, it's far more important to um, make a mark in the community. I would say, like if you want long term uh, visibility, it's far more important in making a mark, at least initially. But again, as Matthias said, you can always move around. uh, like once you are comfortable inside the community, you know a lot of people. uh, you would know people across multiple SIGs. You can talk to people, and yeah, you can always decide that, okay, this is my interest, let me just jump onto this, or even like handle a couple of SIGs or three SIGs together if you have the bandwidth. But yeah.
yeah. To start with, I think yeah, it's a open ground. I guess we could actually be part of multiple six, but as we gain more knowledge, I think can become the core.
Yeah,
Sure, Saik,
just
I'll try
jump in.
to drop a message to you on Slack.
Yeah, yeah, like don't be shy, just jump in. Another thing I would say, as I don't know about you, Matthias, but I pretty much like formally joined the community a year or so ago. So from what I hear is like things are not um, things are a bit demanding than it was before. So it might be difficult if you are looking for a helping hand or something. Again, Matthias mentioned that. So um, jump in to work on stuff that you know that you can work on, is what I would say. That was pretty much a reason why I started with SIG Contribex and SIG Docs and started working on the website first, because that is something I knew that I would definitely know how to do without even like going through, like I don't know. I like you, Cuttle. I was looking into doing 6 CLI stuff, but I was like, okay, to get into 6 CLI, I probably need a couple of months of reading the code base or something like that. So I was like, yeah, sure. So yeah, so having the correct mental mindset and the expectations is also important, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Agree.
yeah. So without burning out, but we expect contributors to finish the work that they start, because otherwise it makes even more work for maintainers and reviewers. You know, if you start teaching someone to a PR and at the end it's abandoned, it's a bit of a shame. So yeah, try start with something that you know already and that you know you're gonna finish without too much help, and then as we know you better, we will have like more bandwidth to help you, I think. Great. Do we want to add something else?
Nope, I'm done, I think.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. You'll find the slides in the repo. So yeah, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, guys.